Hi folks, Spidey's back again. Yes, I know it's been about 2 weeks, and I'm going to be doing a couple of reviews in the next few days, so you're just going to have to deal with me and not Penny and some of the other reviewers. But first I want to dedicate this to Kara C. Kara, I hope you're doing okay. Where are you? I miss you. Okay, so we're going to talk about my favorite movie series, the Psycho movies. Now, I know there's this new Bates Motel on cable, which is okay. I have the first 2 seasons. It's okay. And there's been other things kind of similar to Psycho, but nothing can beat Psycho 2, Psycho 3 with Anthony Perkins. I got this triple feature in the mail. It has number 4 and a 2, 1, 2, 3. I mean 2, 3, 4. And my favorite of all 4 movies is the second one, Psycho 2. Now, I know a lot of people are going to scoff at that. They're going to say, well, don't you think Psycho 1 should be your favorite movie with Janet Leigh and stuff like that? Well, it's okay, but I like Psycho 2, maybe because it's a little more advanced, it's a little more up to date, and these I think were done in the 80s pretty much, or 90s, or I think 80s or 90s. Psycho 2 and Psycho 3, I'm not really sure. Before Anthony Perkins passed away. But I like Psycho 2 because he gets out of the asylum about 22 years later. Of course, he wants to go back to the Bates Motel and house and revive the business, which is, fantastic, He's trying to get his life back together, and you do notice I ain't got no music in the background. I can't concentrate with all that screaming and torturing in the basement, so I like it quiet. And the other members like all the mischief and all the agony and pain. I don't like that. I want to make sure I get my review out here loud and clear so everybody understands it without any, weird stuff in the background. So, yes, I'm still weird, but I still enjoy. I got to do it my way. You got to do it my way. Spidey's got to. Hey, you guys think I'm looking good? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Spidey, man. I am Spidey, folks. Anyway, let's get to the number 2, Psycho 2. Okay, it has Denis Franz, Vera Meg Tilly, Anthony Perkins, of course, and a few other really well-known actors and actresses. You recognize them instantly. But he gets out, he goes back to Bates Motel, of course, and he gets a little part-time job at a diner down the road to help support himself until he get the Bates Motel back up and running again. Of course, he has this really sleazy motel runner, Denis Franz, running the place, since he's been in the institution. I don't know why he's there. I would think they would just shut the whole house up and be done with it, and rip it down or something, But apparently somebody hired him to take care of the motel, so it keeps the house up and running. I don't know, maybe the insurance company or the rent, realty company. I'm not sure exactly. But anyway, Anthony Perkins comes back, and Denis Franz is a complete sleazeball. He's renting out to everybody you don't want to rent out to. The motels down below the house. And he's, to all kinds of sleazy elements in the community and stuff like that. Of course, Anthony Perkins is pretty conservative, because he's a psycho. Oh, but he's so good. You got to give it up for Anthony Perkins, man. God rest his soul. I wish he hadn't passed away. I would have loved to see more movies like this by him, after he passed away. I'm not sure exactly what year, but, aside from that point, so basically he ends up firing Denis Franz because Denis Franz is a complete loon and he's just a sleazeball. And you don't want somebody running your motel like that. You want, upstanding individual who's going to bring in some good elements to the motel and money-making efforts and stuff like that, which just makes common sense. Perfect sense, So, so he fires him, and of course, I don't think Anthony Perkins is actually doing the killing. So Denis Franz gets killed in this movie. He comes back drunk one night to get all of his belongings out of the manager's cabin. And of course, somebody comes in and stabs him with the wig and the dress on. And we never can really determine who actually is doing the killing. But I think it's Anthony Perkins' real mother, Emma Spool. I think she comes back and she's actually working at the diner with Anthony Perkins, Norma Bates, and she doesn't tell Norman that she's the real mother. She gave him up at birth to the mummy up in the window. The mummy up in the window. Yeah. And so they're working together and stuff like that. And of course, there's Vera Miles and Meg Tilly, mother and daughter, who are trying to drive Norman Bates, I should just say Norman, loony again, to get him back up into the asylum again, because they want him out of the community. They think they're doing they think they're doing the right thing. Of course, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. They end up making him loony again, because of what they're doing to him, trying to make him, all kinds of the weird things going in the house. They're sneaking to the house and, dressing up and stuff like that, making phone calls to him all the time, claiming that, Norman, this is your mother. What are you doing? Stuff like that. Stuff like that. Stuff to basically drive an unstable person even more unstable. Kind of like me. I'm kind of unstable. Yeah. I could actually live in that house. That house is so goddamn wicked. Anyway, so, the whole thing is, the more and more people are killed, during the movie and stuff like that. And it turns out that his mother actually is doing the killing. Emma Spool, who works in a diner. She's trying to protect Norman because she knows what's going on with all these people in the community trying to drive poor Norman nuts, and so she basically starts killing off one by one, Denis, Franz, and then she kills Vera Miles in the basement, the cellar of the house. She has this big old, she's dressed up as Norman Bates' mother, of course. Well, actually, she is Norman Bates' mother. And she takes a butcher knife and just stabs it right through Vera Miles' mouth, all the way through the back of her head. It's just a nasty scene, man. The lights, the moving light is moving back and forth, and she's laying on the floor with a big old butcher knife, hanging out from her mouth to the back of her head, and that's a pretty cool scene. She ends up burying her in a pile of coal in the cellar because they got a coal firing furnace, so that's pretty cool. And then, of course, Meg Tilly, her daughter, starts to sympathize with Norman, and she's trying to tell Norman that it's her mother that's trying to drive him nuts, and all these shenanigans going on. It's her and her mother, and Norman, he doesn't really believe. He doesn't know what to believe. He's completely loony still, He's confused, kind of like me. Anyway, the sheriff is really good in this movie. He's I can't think of his name. You'd recognize him really easily. He's a friend of Norman. He's trying to give Norman the benefit of the doubt. The sheriff has to keep coming out. Well, your motel manager has disappeared. We have to look around and stuff. And they find out that he's been pushed into the swamp in his car, and he's actually in the trunk of his car all wrapped up. Just, oh god, it's this gross scene, man. There's a bunch of sheriffs and cops out there, and they haul the car out of the swamp, it's completely submerged, and they find the body in the trunk and stuff. They don't show the body, but, there's flies all around, and they're all kind of gagging and everything. Oh god, shut that thing. He's in there. He's dead. I can't think of his name he played in this movie, Denis Franz. He was a motel manager, but he was a sleazeball. He deserved to have this ass offed. I don't think he's part of any of the mischief, though. He's just a sleazeball that just took control of the motel. And so Meg Tilly basically gets killed, too. I'm not going to give too much of this movie away. It's really fairly fast-paced. Can't be more than 90 minutes long. It's got some really nice atmospheric elements to it. It's got some great suspense. It's got good acting, good script. Music is really nice. I love this movie. It's going to get a pretty good rating from me. Because it's my favorite movie of all four. Anyway, Meg Tilly, Vera Miles' daughter, she gets killed by a sheriff, kind of like. I shouldn't be giving all this away because a lot of you people are going, spoilers! Just like the new Star Wars. Don't give the spoilers away. Oh. Doesn't make any difference. I could whoop Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker with one hand tied behind my back. Woo! That's for all you Star Wars fans out there. Anyway, Meg Tilly gets off by a sheriff because she's dressed up as Norman Bates' mother, and of course they think she's the one that's been doing the killing, her and mother, and it really wasn't Meg Tilly. She was just involved basically with the scheme, the hatch the scheme on Norman, but they shoot her dead, and then of course the whole thing is over then, and so, there's all kinds of other things going on. There's a couple more killings in the movie and stuff like that. But the movie, I think, is really well done. I think this movie, like I said, is the best of all four movies by a long shot. The first one probably being the second best, the third one being the third best, the fourth one being the fourth best. That kind of makes this a little off there, but that's how I view those movies. You know, 2 is number 1, 1 is number 2, 3 is number 3, and 4 is number 4. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, so at the end, Emma Spool, Norman's real mother, comes to visit after everything's been, all the commotion done, everything, and they decided that the killers have been caught and the killing's done now. Emma Spool comes and visits Norman at the very end of the movie in his kitchen. And, of course, Norman knows it's really her she's been doing the killing. He's pretty smart, actually. For somebody who's deranged, he is actually pretty damn smart. So he invites her in, gives her some tea, some knockout tea. It's great. You know, they talk about her. She tells, I'm your real mother, you know, and I gave you up at adoption, because she was actually in the mental institution herself when she was, before she gave birth to Norman. So she passed on her genes to Norman. That's why he is the way he is today. You know, so oh, like mother, like son. You know, isn't that just lovely? That's just like me. My mother was a loony, and she was a queen spider, and now I'm the Spider-Man. Whatever. Anyway, so this is one of the this killing here will rest in your mind forever, will resonate in your mind forever. Basically, she's at the kitchen table. He offers her some tea. He's having some supper. He expected her to come over because, since everything's done, he knew the real killer was coming over, and he knew it was his mother, his real mother. So she's having tea at the table, and he gives her the special tea, the one that knocks her out or kills her. I don't know what's in it, strychnine or whatever was in it, you know. And she slumps over on the table, and he has this big old shovel in the kitchen with him, you know, a spade shovel. And she's passed out right on the table with her face in her plate. He just comes right behind her, just bashes her right on the back of the head. It is so wicked looking that you just want to go, holy shit! That would, oh man, instant skull crush. And she just falls to the floor, and she's sitting there quivering, you know, and, you know, there's blood coming out of the back of her head. She's dead. And so basically he, you know, that's his new, he puts his real mother up in her bedroom. You know, he sticks her, he puts the clothes on her and everything, cleans up the mess, you know, and, you know, carries her upstairs, and he puts her onto the bed. So starts part 3. You know? Yeah, it's actually, you know, it's actually good. You know, I feel so sorry for Norma Bates, you know. He was tormented as a kid so bad by his mother and friends and stuff like that. He just went loony. Of course, a repressive mother and stuff like that, you know, and just, you know, was conservative, and, you know, every girl was, you know, nasty and dirty, and the world was disgusting, you know, and, you know, he needs to be clean and, you know, not worry about that kind of stuff. Just take care of her, you know, her mummified body. But no, the movie, I think, you know, to me, this movie I've always watched this movie. You know, if I had to pick all 4 movies, I'd always take number 2. Number 2 is king. Number 2 is king. You know, like I say, good performances. Everything is well done in this movie. 3, I think, we'll talk about 3 another time, but 3 kind of falls short just a little bit. It's not a bad follow-up to number 2, but 2 is the king of all 4 movies. Let's see, what else can we talk about? I did start to watch, what can we talk about? I don't even know what we can talk about, folks. It's disgusting. Anyway, let's talk about me, since I'm the focal point of this webcast. Excuse me. Anyway, I've been gone for a while. Oh, actually, we should rate that movie first, shouldn't we? Oh, I think I'm doing a pretty good job tonight, considering I haven't done this for 2-3 weeks. You know, poor Penny, he's been just out of his mind, you know, and stuff like that. I've been on tour again, you know, fighting crime in Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Illinois. You know, wherever my services are needed, I have to go, folks. You know, I have no choice. I am Spider-Man. I am the world's greatest superhero. You know, I can whoop any I can whoop any superhero in the world. Anyone, even Thor and the Hulk. Oh God. Even Magneto. How did I bring him up? How did I get the X-Men in here? Oh, I hate the X-Men. Anyway, so let's rate this movie before I just babble myself out of webcast here, or out of my brains, because I am out of my brains. Okay, now, out of 1 out of 10 Spiderwebs, I'm going to give Psycho 2. Psycho 2. Let's see, there's the back cover right there. There it is. Oh, yeah. Norman! Get up here with my supper right now! You bad little boy! You know the way she talks. He's actually doing the voice, so, I can't recreate it perfectly, but every time you say her ghost takes control of him, it's not really a ghost. It's just this schizoid brain doing it, And anyway, number 2, I'm gonna give. This is a tough call. This is a tough call because I'm gonna give it a 9 Spiderwebs. I know it's not 100% perfect, but out of the other 3 movies, the other 3 movies, I'm gonna give this a 9 because I think this movie is, like I said about 8 times before, is the best of the 4 movies. Anthony Perkins, as always, does a fantastic job as Norman Bates. I just like the way I think I might have already said this. I just like the way his facial features are. He just basically looks like Norman Bates. How Norman Bates would look. He's got the creepy little smile, the kind of like really low toned voice when he wants to be really crafty and sneaky and everything like that. And he's actually quite funny in this movie. You look at him and he's just ready to crack up, but he does the role so well that he's very believable in this movie. And, he kind of has those little facial twitches too, which I really like. In these Psycho movies, Anthony Perkins, his face looks like it has these little twitches and stuff when he's basically kind of like starting to go off the deep end or he's starting to get confused and stuff like that. He does a really good job with his acting and in his range of movements, his body movements and stuff like this, facial movements. That's what I like about Anthony Perkins. He seems to was born to do this role. I don't know why, but he really was a great actor, folks. Anthony Perkins was a great actor, man. He pulled this role off 100%, magnificently. I mean, no one else in the world could do this. Well, there might be some people, but he does a great job, and it's really sad that he passed away after number 4 because I would have loved to see him just continue on with this. Of course, he did a lot of other great movies too, so just don't think he played Norman Bates, folks. Anthony Perkins has a long list of TV roles and movie credits to his name. Just go to his internet database file, and you'll see what I mean. And but anyway, like I said, I'm going to give it a 9. That's a pretty good high rating. I can't quite go 10. So anyway, we're getting pretty close to the end of this webcast here. And I think I babbled on enough, and I'm sure people are going to scoff at my review. They're going to humiliate me. They're going to say, well, hey, what the hell's going on here? It looks like one of my eyes is drooping. What the hell? No. One of my eyes is drooping. Oh my God. This is hideous. No, it ain't. That's a little bit better. Okay, a little bit better. Not really. Learn how to put your Spider-Man suit on. Oh, well, this important. You guys know what I'm talking about anyway. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, God, I'm just all over the place tonight. Oh, my God, I gotta go. Okay. It's getting a little better. Well, maybe not a little better. Anyway, we're going to get going. And I just wanted to talk about one of my favorite movies of all time. So you guys take it easy. That's a little bit better. You guys take it easy and check out number 2. I'm sure a lot of you people have seen this movie anyway, so, that's my take on it. That's my shtick on it. If you want to comment in the box below, you're more than welcome to it on the YouTube comment box or the Facebook comment box. So until then, we'll see you with reviews from Psycho 3 and Psycho 4, and maybe some other movies very soon. Okay, you guys behave yourself. I'll be watching you. Okay? I'm always watching you. I'm always here to protect you. Bye now. Bye.